Hey everybody, welcome back to Time Capsule here on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel. It's the show where we travel back in time to your favorite years in gaming and showcase awesome speedruns of games that were released in the same year. Tonight we are hanging out in 1998 and we are all set up for Sonic Adventure. So please welcome Witherman. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, how's everybody doing tonight? It feels fantastic to be here on this channel. It's been kind of a dream of mine for as long as I've been into the gaming sphere. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's not just me here. I'm here with my good friend Squeefy. How are you doing today, my friend?
It's going good. Being here is going to be kind of awesome. Not gonna lie, we've got a lot happening, so yeah.
Well, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure's gone through a lot recently. In a little bit more than just as a speed game and as a community. There was a board split. For the longest time, Sonic Adventure, the original Dreamcast version, was considered more of a subcategory of Sonic Adventure DX, which is a much more popular speed game for some reasons we'll probably have time to talk about during the run.
Plenty of time. But, yeah, we'll have time.
But Sonic Adventure has had kind of a resurgence recently, with a lot of new strats being found and a lot of interest in the community to really push this version of the game, as well as a few console-specific subcategories that don't really work for DX, such as Cutscene Cut, which is its own whole unique thing, which ends up turning into its own run with its own weird consequences. So, but yeah, Adventure in the last couple weeks has kind of exploded, so the timing really couldn't be better to showcase this game.
Perfect. Well, yeah, that sounds like an awesome plan to me, Witherman. So whenever you want to give the countdown, we're ready for it.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start getting ready then. So time is gonna begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
And I guess we're off then. So, we've got a loading screen we'll wait for here. Try to explain things as we go because that makes sense. And here is our first difference between Dreamcast and DX. Sit back, relax, make a sandwich.
Yeah, we got a lot of time on our hands for this one.
This kind of reason we have the cutscene skip, that cutscene cut cargo extension is for, skipping cutscenes. Kind of just open up some opportunities. But here we're doing a full-on Sonic Story playthrough.
So this is the biggest discrepancy, I would say, between DX and DC. You can't skip these. And the game is so cool. It's so different from DX. There are so many unique strategies that only work in this game, but you gotta sit through the cutscenes for them.
Yeah.
Which is why we're so glad our category extension of boards exist.
Yeah. It's changed a lot of things. I mean, there are a couple cutscenes we'll skip later on, but we'll get to them.
So what's happening in this game then? If we're going to be sitting through many cutscenes, maybe you could tell us. Is there a way?
Okay, so evil water demon from some place got really upset because someone hurt his children.
Yeah, that's the plot.
That's about it.
In long and short, there's also like an underlying plot about a war that wipes out an entire race of people.
I forgot about
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I forgot about the subplot.
I forgot about the subplot. It's kind of undertoned.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so Chaos Zero. This is actually probably one of the easiest bosses. Actually, no, not one of it. Just is.
Yeah, this is.
It's very simple. Basically, what he's going to do is he's going to do a spin dash jump. Well, a spin dash straight into Chaos right here. Go back. That will reset him. He'll start to stand up. Go back to him again.
Oh no.
Take damage. Wait. Take damage one hit early. Now he'll take damage. And that essentially just ends that cycle early. And then he'll go. He'll move across the other lamp so he can't hit him. And he'll jump down.
Alright.
And okay.
That he does not want to cooperate today, but...
That was the Chaos Zero of all time.
Yeah, Chaos Zero is sometimes a little bit silly.
It can be, yeah. Yeah, it can be.
And yeah, if in case you're wondering why this game is in Japanese and why we sit through, if you look at the estimate, about an hour and 30 minutes of Japanese cutscenes. The Japanese version of the game is slightly faster for a lot of really weird reasons. The cutscenes are very slightly faster in a few places. The spawn locations are a little bit different in the hub worlds, so you have like a little bit less hub world movement. Load times are a little bit faster, which matters for a game that's timed in RTA.
Yes.
And some of the weirdest stuff of all is that the camera is completely different. Like, for some reason, if you play Sonic Adventure DX, you're going to have the opportunity to switch between what's known as free cam and auto cam, which completely changes how the camera for that game works. The Japanese version of the game is much similar to what that game calls free cam, and every other version of the game, including, like, every other version of the game, has what's known as auto cam, which is much more restrictive. I have no idea why this change was made, or why they purposefully made the camera a little worse, but, you know, we make do.
Yeah, I mean, we adapt, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now we actually get to start the game. The cutscenes are over. Thanks for joining our Sonic Adventure movie. Okay, so Emerald Coast, this is a very technical level, considering it's the first stage of the game, because there's a lot that can go wrong. So what we can do is we can just jump over here because, you know, we can do that. And typically we're going to try and avoid going through loops because you're literally going back to where you started. Not really what we want to be doing here. First major skip we're going to do is something called well skip. Which, if, yep, just simply jump over there. That went about as smoothly as you can ask for, to be fair. That was great. We're just going to go for it. Hopefully Wither gets the bonk, which is, if you cancel the spin at the right time, that's unfortunate, but it's, you know.
Oh no.
Just hit the collision on the bottom of the bridge. Okay, that's unfortunate, but you know, we keep going. It's not going to lose much time overall. And then we are into Act 3. Not Act 3, Act 2. What am I talking about? Yeah, I know maths. So we're just going to do a quick spin this truck. Oh, okay.
Oh my.
Wibber! Stop it! Wibber!
I'm trying.
Wait a minute. Stop it. Thank you.
What?
You're a disappointment. Get out. Anyway, we're showing off the Let's Play route.
Alright, so...
anyone that's played DX will notice the water here does cover up a lot more. So in DX you can do some skips, which work on Dreamcast, but just a bit hard to line up just because you can't see where the limits are of the collision and everything. And we're coming close to the end of Emerald Coast. And yeah, that was a good run, actually. Few mistakes, but you know, don't worry.
Yeah, a few very silly things happened for sure, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll tell you that about it. You know.
Remember how we said we watched cutscenes? That is a lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
There is two. Is it two?
It's two.
Two specific cutscenes we can skip. I mean, there are others using some glitches and skips which are not easy to do. So I'm not sure we'll be showing them off because, yeah, they're very specific.
Yeah. There are a few more cutscene skips besides the two resets, but yeah, they are very, very difficult.
Very difficult.
And
it's the way Dreamcast handles collision is a little bit different to DX. DX kind of just lets you go through as long as the majority of your character is through the collision, you go through. Dreamcast has a habit of knowing where you're supposed to be and then will push you back out, regardless of how far in you are. Which does mean finding certain clips and skips does get a bit difficult. So we're just making our way over to Egg Hornet, which is a nice, you know, it's a nice little breather for a few seconds. So guess what?
And you'll notice as well that there's no hub world music at all. Once you do that little reset to skip the Tails cutscene, the game just kind of gets sad and stops playing music for you.
Oh no, you didn't want to watch a story. Oh, hi. I mean, yeah. I mean, the levels will have music still, it's just hub worlds. Which is a weird thing for shit to happen, but I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with not loading it, I guess. So, just to explain how Egg Hornet's going to work, he will shoot some missiles, we will dodge the missiles, and then we will just spam the A button.
Oh, most people dodge the missiles. I like to take them head on. Like,
I mean, that works too.
In Dreamcast, what I've noticed is the missiles themselves cause a bunch of lag whenever they land. So it's a little bit faster to jump up so that the missiles don't hit the ground. They might hit you, but they don't cause any lag at all. So it's like a 1 second save.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You have to remember, because this is timed RTA, anything that introduces lag is kind of something you want to try and avoid.
There are a lot of anti-lag strats.
Yes, there is. So, you know, we do kind of want to avoid it as much as we can. So just grabbing a safety ring here. Letting the missiles, well, kind of dodge around them, I guess. And essentially we're trying to stay close to the rim, the edge of the stage, just so it comes down earlier. Save a few seconds. But that's what we do. Saving the seconds. And so yeah, also another thing,
awesome.
that was a really good run actually. Another thing that also is consistent that we do is when you finish a act, well, a stage or a boss or anything, if you hold down a face button, it will skip the results, so you don't have to sit through them. Which is, you know, another small time save which is worth using when you never.
Yeah, that's nice. They add up.
With how many there are, because it's after every level, after every boss, they add up to like way more than you'd think.
Wow.
Yeah, Tails is very ignorantly walking out with the Chaos Emerald right in front of him. Eggman decides, well, that looks pretty easy. So he just grabs it.
Because, you know, and I still would have no idea where the hell that claw came from. It makes literally no sense. It just came out of nowhere.
The Eggmobile's got everything it needs. You know, it's got an infinite amount of ice trays to keep making ice robots. It's got ample room for Eggman in every Chaos Emerald. It's got everything it needs, you know. It's
like the Swiss Army knife of robot eggs, I guess. The best description I can come up with. So about halfway through this cutscene, got Windy Valley next, which is Windy Valley is the next level, which is going to have one of the biggest skips in the game, which I'm kind of excited for because it looks amazing.
Windy Valley is a very flashy stage. It's very cool.
It is. So this is going to be something.
It's sure going to be something.
It's going to be something. I mean, I guess while we're sitting in court, we can kind of try and explain how movement works in this game. And what you'll notice is we tend to not hold a spin dash. We will alternate. Because the way, basically, Sonic's fastest movement is after the initial charge of a spin dash. So when you charge, you'll move, and then after, gradually, you'll slow down time. So we will chain multiple spin dashes back to back to keep that initial speed, instead of allowing it to drop down. The only time we will hold a spin dash is hold a roll is when we're going downhill, because you gain speed going down. Any other time you will see whether it's alternating X and B to keep the initial charge going.
Yeah, it's I use I'm playing on original hardware in case that wasn't abundantly clear to everybody. This is not on emulator, so there is we are using original Dreamcast controllers when we run. So to be able to alternate between X and B on a Dreamcast controller is pretty tricky.
Yeah, most will do a claw grip and then sort of take the hands off whenever they're doing something like a spin dash jump or anything like that. To sort of get your fingers in position, because you know the thing you'll need for playing this game is pretzel hands.
True, it sometimes feels like I'm playing DDR with my hand just to get it in the right place.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so we've got another skip coming up here. This is called trampoline skip. What we're going to do is you're going to roll onto it, hit A, and that was absolutely perfect. You have to time the last jump just as you're about to fall off the second to last platform, and essentially you will try and homing attack onto that spring, and then you can go from there. And that was about as smooth as you can get. And this is Windy Valley Skip. What is happening here is we are lining up a spin dash, going round, avoiding a hiccuping. Looks about right. I'm nervous because you're doing this one blind.
No, I'm fine. This is easy. The hard part's getting through the kill plane. Now that I've got through the kill plane, all I gotta do is land.
I mean, it's looking good, so of course,
Yeah.
And there it is. That was about as flawed as you can get. But yeah, as we were saying, we are dodging around kill planes to essentially fall to the end of the stage. Because the way Sonic's gravity works is when you hit a certain speed, it will try and pull you sort of down to where Sonic's feet are. Sort of bad way of explaining it, but And so essentially, we're just sort of pulling him down.
If you go fast enough off a slope, it's kind of like if you've played Mario Galaxy, it's as if you get it put on a different planet, and you get pulled towards like a different planet almost. It feels super bizarre. But once you start to get the feel of it, you can really get a lot of use out of being able to manipulate Sonic's gravity. We get a ton of utility out of it, and that is one of the biggest instances of it.
Yeah, that is probably the best way to explain it. It's just Mario Galaxy. But essentially, once you hit a certain speed, you basically kind of get to choose where you use it, and so you have to find out, where it goes.
The man.
Hey,
so
wasn't that nice?
Whenever that man shows up, you're unable to do a spin dash jump because you'll start a conversation with him, which is a little annoying. So I got a little unlucky with the man TM being where I don't want him to be.
Yeah. Okay, anyone that played DX will know this. These light shoes are in a slightly different area. To move forward a little bit in Dreamcast versus DX. And there's another.
You go ahead.
I was saying, there's another cutscene we can't really do much about.
Yeah,
so and
I will mention with the Lightspeed Dash in particular, you'll see it more in this run than you probably expect. All right, talk to Tikal. There we go.
Yeah, we're talking to Tikal because what can happen is when you try to do that jump, you hit her, and then you have to do it again. So talk to her early, get her out of the way, and then it just makes it easier.
Yeah, the Lightspeed Dash is utilized for a lot of tricks in Dreamcast specifically. Way more than you'd see in DX. The Lightspeed Dash in this game has this super business, the Lightspeed Dash in both games can be chained with a spin dash if you are very particular about the way that you attempt it.
Nice.
So doing a Lightspeed Dash spin dash jump, which is a lot of words, I call that a silly hop. Using a silly hop, we can do a skip in Lost World, and then also the most important thing, final leg skip, which is something that was not considered RTA viable until relatively recently.
Which we will get to that, and
we will get to that.
It is a skip. And what we just did, that was Casinopolis skip. That is the Dreamcast version, because the collision of that wall River went through basically doesn't exist.
Yeah, though that singular wall, the other wall up there has collision. The other part of the floor doesn't have collision. It's like everything perfectly lines up for you to be able to do it just like that and no other way.
Yep.
It's very weird.
Yep, just describe that game in one word. Weird. But yeah, another thing just to bring up Casinopolis while we're here is that the end of the stage has a force that will pushes you off the platform. That's not on DX, that's only on Dreamcast. So what happens is you have to go behind the emerald to grab it, because if you go too close to the edge, you'll get pushed off, and then, you have to do it again. That's only a Dreamcast thing?
Yeah, Dreamcast weird.
Dreamcast weird.
And I do see in the chat, someone asked how many thousands of hours did it take to perfect that skip. I'm assuming that's referring to Windy Valley. More than you'd think. It's really hard.
Okay, Windy Valley skip on DX is, I'm not going to say it's free, but it's a lot easier. On Dreamcast,
especially with all the tools given.
Yeah, on Dreamcast, it's one of those easy to understand, but trying to actually get it consistent is a completely different story.
If I did not practice earlier, today, that was hopeless.
Yes.
I
had faith. You would have done it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's what pulled me through.
Faith. Oh, gonna get the ice key here. I don't know what you really do with it. Another thing, interesting thing about Sonic's movement is that, not including spin dashing, he actually moves faster while holding an item.
That's kind of a universal trait across most of the cast, except for Gamma, for some reason.
Yes, I think I'm the only one that doesn't, which is a strange thing to change, but I guess I think they didn't want you to be holding items too often, so makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're going to come into Ice Cap. You know, a lot of these stages tend to have skips that will skip a big chunk, but they don't tend to be as easy to do as Dreamcast. Like a lot, not as Dreamcast, I mean as DX. I'm talking about the wrong game here.
Yeah. Like the concept is like a lot of the same tricks exist in theory, but in practice they're very different. And Dreamcast almost always, not every time, but almost always has the harder variant.
Yes. It'll either be the same but harder, or there'll be something similar to where it will do basically the same thing, just a different area, different setup. And one example of that is actually coming up here in Ice Cap.
Yeah, Ice Cap I think is one of the prime examples of that.
I mean, this is in the actual do. This is just called doors clip, which can sort of spin us jump around here, and then that bottom corner has literally no collision. We just jump through. Yeah, usually we would keep going forward, and there was collision further back there. On Dreamcast, there is a hole here. What we was doing is he's trying to line up his ear with that crack, and that was honestly kind of perfect.
Yeah, it was second try. That is absurdly fast.
That is good.
I will be counting out loud though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I let go of the control stick. I'm not the best at landing in the perfect spot all the time, so I have a safety strat that I like to use, where I'll wait for this mountain to render right here, then I'll react to it and just kind of go away.
Because you remember, Ice Cap, similar to Windy Valley, we are kind of avoiding a kill plane here. It's not a huge kill plane, but at the same time, the position... I
manage to find it every time.
That's because you're terrible at this game. What have you been doing?
So true. Why am I here?
Oh no. But yeah, it's you tend to get a bit closer to it on Dreamcast, is what I feel anyway. Like I think the kill plane's about the same on DX. It's just you tend to fall nearer to it in Dreamcast
because of where you start.
Yeah, like where you fall.
The actual starting place of where you fall in the beginning of Ice Cap is very different. Even though the kill plane is theoretically in the exact same place, it's much more inconvenient to get around it in Dreamcast.
Yes. Anyways, everyone's get your oh-nos ready because here he comes. Knock his knuckles.
Yeah, no oh-nos in Japanese. He just gives a very blood-curdling scream.
Yeah. Okay. Knuckles is honestly pretty simple by here. You can just homing attack him. You do have to be careful not to hit him too quick because you can get phantom hits. Because you can hit him and he'll do the damage animation, but he won't take damage, but it resets his invincibility frames. So you do have to sort of time it, get the hit off before, So you do it after his invincibility frames are gone. So there's, yep. Honestly, you gotta appreciate that. I don't know who recorded Knuckles in Japanese, but beauty.
Knuckles' Japanese voice is fantastic. This is a good time to mention how good the Japanese voice cast is. The only person that's changed is Eggman.
Yeah, and I believe that's because his original voice actor, rest his soul, passed away around I can't remember what game it was. I want to say S-Heroes, I think. Sounds about right.
I think that's about right. But beyond that, the Japanese voice cast for every single Sonic property has been the exact same. So every Sonic TV show, every Sonic game, everything that's ever had Sonic's voice in Japanese has been the same person.
Yes.
That's honestly incredible.
They nailed it. They got the perfect voice for him, like first try.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say the same for American and English, but I mean that's a whole different conversation. Yeah, I love the current English cast though.
Yeah. One thing you'll notice, Sonic's voice actor does tend to say a lot of English, and there is a good reason for that. He is actually an English teacher.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Sonic's voice actor.
Cool.
Junichi, I think his name is. He's an English teacher, so he tends to say a lot of English.
There are a lot of very funny, very quotable English lines from Japanese Sonic.
Yeah.
Like, shoot is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And then,
Here.
It's not disrespectful to Resident Sleeper on Chaos 4.
Oh, Chaos 4. This is a boss. But yeah, we'll quickly explain how Chaos 4 works. Chaos 4 will do an attack, he will then move 3 times, raise up out of the water, and then you can hit him. Repeat that until the last cycle where he does 3 attacks, 3 movements. So with attack, move 3 times, attack, move 3 times, attack, move 3 times, and then you can hit him. What we're trying to do here is we want to keep our distance while being high in the air. What we're trying to do is avoid any blue spheres happening. Because they will lose around 8 seconds, roughly. Probably even longer Dreamcast, actually.
The blue spheres are ridiculous. They lose twice even. But they actually don't lose that much time if you stay far away from him in Dreamcast. The worst instance of RTA with blue spheres in Chaos 4 is actually GameCube. GameCube can lose up to 34 seconds off of a blue spheres.
Wait, what?
It comes to a screeching halt when that attack starts.
Oh wow!
It's
my parents got their own running GameCube then.
GameCube is a very interesting version of Sonic Adventure.
Yeah,
it's the first version of DX, so it's both the closest and furthest from Dreamcast. Yeah. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, yes it is. You notice DX tends to be a port of the previous game, so a lot of things get broken off, changed for our ports. GameCube is, I still like to say GameCube feels the most stable, but it's a lot more difficult than other runs. Because the control,
Yeah. While
GameCube
might be the most stable version of the game and one of the best looking graphically as far as the DXs go, it's got a lot of very interesting. I can't even call them changes because they're more like changes down the line. But if you start running something like the 2004 PC disc and then you go back to GameCube, it almost feels like the game got patched.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
That is the best way to explain it. It's literally the game got patched. And here we come to, honestly, my favorite part of the game. Reason why? Because I can do anything to make a sandwich. So then, chat, have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Oh no!
Yeah. I didn't remember anything else about that quote.
His flying fortress, the egg carrier.
Yeah. Which I still say is a weird name for it when you think about it.
Well, it's kind of funny, right? Like, he's an egg. It carries eggs. It's an egg carrier. Yeah, it's really on the nose, but it's pretty funny. It's such a cool looking ship. I'm a little disappointed the only time it comes back is Sonic 06.
Yeah, I would like to see more of it because it is a cool ship.
And speaking of its design 06, its design in 06, its design in 06 is amazing. Looks so cool in HD.
It really does. For all the hate 06
Knuckles.
All the hate 06 gets, that is actually a really fun game. It's another really fun run.
Especially with the gems. I quite like the gem system in 06.
Yeah. Okay, so, right. We're gonna need some concentration here because Wither has to set up the hardest trick in the game. Okay.
This is really, really taxing. This is probably the hardest single section of execution on the whole run. Once this cutscene is over.
Once the cutscene is over, you're gonna need full concentration here. But no, we got faith. We got faith. You can do it. Complete faith. And you know what? Yep. Because having a secret runway makes sense. Why not? Got the room for it.
I'm just interested how he didn't kill the trees.
He moved them out of the way. He moved them.
Why didn't I think of that?
Just move them.
Just move them. What are roots?
Like, roots, who needs them? Probably doesn't even want them. They're probably plastic. Let's be real. He's got plastic trees outside his house. Is this even his house? There's like nothing in there.
It's a workshop.
Yeah, I don't even know where he lives.
It's not a house.
Does he live anywhere?
Does anyone live anywhere besides Big?
Anyway, here it is, the hardest trick in the game. Okay? What Wither is going to do is put his control stick in a very specific spot, and by that I mean you're going to put top right and then put the controller down.
All right.
That's it. Good job.
Great level. Thank you.
World record pace. Let's go. World record. Let's go.
Very impressive.
So yeah, the sky chases, there are 2 of them in Sonic's story, both of which can be completely nullified by going to the top right corner of the screen.
Yeah, because, you know...
You might take a little bit of damage, but, like, you can't lose.
Yeah. This works in both Act 1 and Act 2, so... They really didn't test this. I mean, the only thing you need to consider for Act 2 is you have to fight the boss, but that's literally it.
And the boss fight for Act 2 doesn't really contest you. If you just mash on it, it just kind of dies.
Yeah. Because it loses its hit collision when it dies, so you just sort of stay in the middle, and then there you go. As simple as you can get.
Yeah, this is about the time in the run where I talk about how much I like Sonic Adventure.
I'm gonna let you take it away if you want to.
About every time I end up running this game, I always talk about just how much I like this game. And I know it's kind of like a meme in a lot of communities, or just in general with speedrunning, for like speedrunners to be like, I hate my game, but like I don't feel that at all for Sonic Adventure in any way. I love everyone in the community. I love everybody that I've talked to about this game. I love everything in this game. Even when this game frustrates me, it's like I always know that I can play at least a different story casually and have just a great time. Adventure is just such a fun game, and the Dreamcast is such a cool console.
Can I ask you, Witherman, is this game, like, does it hold a certain nostalgia for you? Is that why you decided to speedrun it?
So that's a fun question to answer, because So Sonic Adventure is one of my first 3 Sonics, as I'm assuming it is for most people, honestly. At this, well, maybe not anymore, but that's beyond the point. I played this game. Yeah, I played this game, the GameCube release, whenever I was, 4, 5, 6, when I was pretty young, and so Adventure's got a very, very, just a very special place in my heart. And what got me to the Dreamcast version was just hearing about it and finally getting to play it about like 3 or 4 years ago. The first time I finally got to like really try this version of the game, and I immediately fell in love with this game all over again.
Aw, nice.
So cool. But like it's also kind of hard, right? Because it's hard to have nostalgia for something you never truly left. I play Adventure every year, even before we started running it.
Yeah.
Was it tough to adjust to like the Dreamcast controller? Or it was like pretty natural for you.
So here's the thing. I'm a little freak. I like the Dreamcast controller.
You have no idea.
I love it. It's one of the few controllers I can hold that doesn't actively hurt my hands. I started developing hand problems a long time ago, and so if I use a controller for a prolonged period of time, I just have to put it down. But the Dreamcast controller, part of why I've grinded this game so hard is because I can. It's just the Dreamcast controller just fits very naturally in my, I guess, very alien hands.
Nice.
I mean, one thing I will say is the Dreamcast controller is a lot more comfortable than you'd think. Because looking at it, it does look kind of weird and off-putting, and not having any sort of cover on the analog stick can throw you off. But once you actually spend time with it and get used to it, it is a really nice controller.
I love it. I've used the same controller for every run I've done of this game.
Hey, man.
That's awesome, actually.
It is a really good controller. And that was another question.
That means you didn't. That means you didn't break any controllers in Rage. That's awesome.
True. Also,
if
we're going to be talking about the controller. I got something interesting to add too, as a random little factoid about the Dreamcast controller. It is incapable of drifting. If you have a Dreamcast controller from 1998 like this one, it will never drift. The controller is literally not capable of it.
Magnets, son. Magnets, that's what that is.
Magnets.
Yeah, because most controllers will use potentiometers to kind of work out where they are. Like, imagine an Etch-a-Sketch, that's sort of that. But, the sort of angled. The way Dreamcast controller works is it uses magnets to sense where in a sort of, within like a box, where the control stick is. So, unless you're physically, smashing your controller to pieces, it will never drift. And even then, you're pretty rare.
Or unless like you live long enough for the polars to like the actual like magnetism of the planet to change. That might affect it.
Yeah, that could, but you know. I mean, no, I'll probably still be running the game at that point, to be fair.
Honestly, me too. I love this game.
Anytime soon.
Dedicated.
Dedication. Yeah, I mean, like, I will joke about, not about, you know, things being annoying, but as a whole, this game is great. I love this game. I love this community. You guys are awesome. I love you. But yeah, we're coming up to Twinkle Park here. We are going to try for a skip called TPS. Would it be TPS or TPSS on Dreamcast?
I just say DC skip, or like DC TPS.
Yeah,
because it's just really convenient.
Yeah, because there is a TPS on DX, which is different, and then there's also TPSS, which is completely different. They work on both, but on DX there's an extra kill plane you have to go through. Dreamcast, it's as long as you have the right number of rings, you'll go right through.
And the magic number is between 10 and 20, and this guy is going to
He's gonna be a bit of a pain. Yep.
I've got too many, so this is gonna be fun.
Oh, hopefully it'll be fine. We got faith. And too many.
That's okay.
Yep. I mean, it's not that bad. You know.
Nah.
These things happen, so we just gotta go for it again, and then yeah, it will be fine. Don't you grab the car you get doesn't matter. There is different stats for each car, but not enough to where it affects stuff like track skip. So just go for anyone, it'll be fine.
Oh no. I actually disagree with that too. Wow, it just had to be a 40 capsule. The color of the car for track skip actually matters a little bit. There is with light blue, if you get 15 rings, there is a 100% consistent let go of the controller, always make it strat.
Which
is what I've been trying for. See, every time.
There we go. Perfect. Every time we'll just edit out that bit. It'll be fun.
It's just the rings. Like I just kept getting too many from the capsules. I have criminally bad luck, so I always end up getting like very low ring counts. So I don't normally have to deal with having too many. But you know, because it's a marathon, because it's a no reset, we just had to make sure that something happened. Everything
has to go wrong. That's how it is. That's how it is. Okay, so we're going to set up, this is co-skip. We're going to jump here. We're going to fall in a ball form, and then that allows us to do a homing attack forward, and there we go. We can do a spin dash hover. To explain it, the way spin dash hover works is you charge up a spin dash holding X, you hold A, you then let go of X while holding A, and you essentially, you get further vertical distance to travel based on how many frames your previous jump was. So, we mean you don't really use that in Dreamcast that often?
Not really, no. Yeah. But it is useful to know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll use it again in Speed Highway, which is coming up next. And is anywhere else after that? I don't think so.
If so, we'll remember.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We trust us, guys. We run this game. We play this game. We know what we're doing.
Chat did ask, does the color matter in DX? Yes. It's like, if you don't get dark blue in DX, you are incapable of doing a lot of the fast strats. Yeah. Dark blue is the fastest car overall. I go for light blue in Dreamcast for consistency's sake more than anything else, but dark blue is the fastest car.
Yeah. I mean, DX, the dark blue car is also put in the best position on DX, so it's a lot easier to get it. So most people would naturally go to that one, which is, positive.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. Anyway, here's Speed Highway. And we do have to wait for the keys to drop down so we can get in here. So what we're going to do is, we're going to jump over here, and I'm sure most people playing this game have tried to do this jump. What we're going to do is going to go up here, we're going to do a jump cancel to reset our hover frames, do a spin dash hover, and there we go, right over. I guarantee most people playing this game have tried that at some point without realizing it's an actual skip. And it is amazing.
Now, while it looks so simple, it is actually deceptively difficult to try and learn because there's a lot of tech going on in Speed Highway. It gets chained together so fast you don't really have the time to notice. But you do a spin dash. You reset your hover frames, which is spin dash hovering, which is something we don't use too often.
Yep.
And then you immediately go into a homing attack boost cancel, which is something else that we don't really utilize too often, at least for tricks. I homing attack boost cancel almost every time you see me do a homing attack because I love the mobility it gives me. It's not necessarily faster, but it feels better to me, and it lets me just maneuver a little bit better. A homing attack boost cancel is whenever you do a homing attack and then immediately cancel with the spin dash button, which will remove any of the active frames of Sonic's attack, but it makes him fly forward. He gets to maintain more of his vertical momentum and kind of convert it into horizontal. He gets a small little push forward. It's kind of I don't know. It's kind of just a little hand smacking you in the back to give you just a little push.
So yeah, I mean what we just did there. We just skipped Act 3 by taking a quick spin dash jump up into a roof, falling through, because the top of that doesn't have collision. You skip through that, and I'm gonna go round. We have to go through a couple hub areas just to get to the next cutscene, and then we should be good. So yeah, I mean this is mostly just taking, kind of choosing the correct lines to take movement. There is a heavy emphasis on movement in this game. You can get a really good time only knowing the very basic skips, and you can still get a very good time in this game just based on pure movement. So if anyone considering picking up this game, I definitely recommend spending some time getting used to how it controls and getting a feel for it, because there is a lot of intricacies you kind of have to get used to. But once you do,
that world limit was really cool.
That was really cool, actually. I just trying to get that jump going from the stairs and sort of curving up into the train door. Not the easiest thing to do, but when it does, it looks beautiful.
So, a lot of people might not actually know this because it's not really deliberately explained to you anywhere, and I didn't find out until I started running the game. But the triggers on every version of the game, your left and right trigger, adjust the camera. No one will tell you this. This is a exclusive fact from this stream only. You can manually control the camera at all times in this game by just using the triggers.
Is it even in the instructions?
Is it?
I don't remember. I don't have one anywhere. No, I do, but I can't bother to get them. I'm lazy.
It better be. I'll check my manual later.
I don't know if it is.
That's kind of a big thing to gloss over now that I think about it.
It's we discovered this brand new strat in the game. Is it the instructions? I don't know. I never checked. I don't know. No one told me this. I just sort of played the game. No one said I had to learn how to play it.
Yeah, now we're off to Red Mountain after grabbing the Ancient Light. Red Mountain is a very, very interesting level. Yes. I want to give a shout out in this specific time to Broby, who is at the current time the current world record holder for Sonic Story, and also just got back on the grind for some ILs. He's hit some DX strats, some stuff that you see at the top level of DX, which is a very, very optimized version of the game. He's starting to hit those in Dreamcast, and he's hit the new Red Mountain world record IL is incredibly impressive. Highly recommend you go check that out sometime.
It is. We've got the Ancient Light here, which is there's only one time in the game you actually ever need it. You can technically never use it again. We will use it for Chaos 6 because it does double damage. But yeah, that monkey is the only reason you actually need it, because that load zone behind the door does not exist until that monkey is gone.
If we could somehow find a way to destroy that monkey without the Ancient Light, that would be such a huge time save, but right now, I don't think there's any way we can do that.
Yeah, not that I can think of. Because I believe it's not a separate collision, because I tried looking, I don't know, it could be a different Dreamcast, but I tried looking at the collision on DX, and the cage and monkey share a collision. So I'm not entirely sure how we'd go around that. I mean, there's theories, but again, there's not really any way to test them properly. So anyway, we're demanding we should go around here. This is a big skip right here. We're gonna do a spin dash jump over here. And now one difficult one difference between this and DX is that in FreeCam this will be fine. In Dreamcast, the camera rotates 180, so you got to kind of be preemptive for it. Change your direction as the camera changes, and then you can get through just fine.
If you've ever played a Resident Evil game before, and you know how whenever you go through a hallway, like the camera changes and your controls change, that's exactly what happens right there. So if you can imagine how hard it is to maintain your momentum in a game like this with the Resident Evil camera, it's a little weird.
Yeah, I've lost many runs, many IOL attempts just to that one camera change.
Oh yeah,
It's a fun one.
That, of anything in the game, that is probably what's taken me the longest to get over. At this point now, it's no longer a challenge to me. I don't really think about it too much. But I will say it did haunt my dreams for quite a long time.
Wake up in the cold sweat. I missed my mountain skip again. No.
Wake up in the cold sweat thinking, Red Mountain.
One quick thing I'm going to add is when you go on a rocket, you can actually fall off at any moment just by hitting a spin dash button. So the Red Mountain, we won't take it to full height. We'll go up to basically we'll get to where the end of the hole is. Hit spin dash button, drop down, and then jump onto the capsule. There's more time save, but you know, time save is time save.
Time save is time save, and in this game, it matters.
It matters. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's lucky that Tails poked Sonic with some magnet shoes, otherwise he would have fallen off by now. But here it is.
This game is such a good soundtrack.
It is. I love Sonic Adventure soundtrack. I mean, I grew up on the Adventure era, so I've got a huge amount of nostalgia for this game and its soundtrack.
Oh, me too. Like, oh, whoops. I failed the trick. There we go.
No. Reset, quick. Don't know. Reset. It'll be fun. Reset.
Yeah, so back at Sky Chase, back out of the get of the Krispy Kreme. This is all you have to do again. Just top right, top right, top left, bottom right. I don't think it actually matters for this one.
I believe. Actually, I think it's the same for Act 1 as well. I think they all work.
There is a transition in this one. There's kind of like a two-part stage because you're supposed to have like a more action-oriented section whenever you go into battle mode. But they haven't. The Egg Fleet hasn't quite figured out how corners work yet, even whenever you've changed shape.
But yeah, I mean. Yeah, we can't just sit in the corner and go for it. One thing that doesn't apply to Dreamcast, does apply to DX, is the aspect ratio you play this game affects how the planes coming at you move, like where they come from. Doesn't really matter.
That is an interesting bit, isn't it? Like in Dreamcast, it's always going to be the same resolution. Like it's you know, it's hardware.
Well, okay.
But whenever
depends if you're playing PAL, because PAL has a higher vertical resolution, which then makes it look narrower. Because ours is 576, I believe. Or something else I can't remember. But yeah, ours is technically taller, so we have more vertical pixels, which does make Sky Chase look a bit different.
Does it adjust the spawn of the ships like it does in DX?
I'd imagine it would, but it's not enough to where it makes a difference.
Yeah, some people who run DX, they don't just play in widescreen; they play in like ultra widescreen. Like the first person that comes to mind for me is Pasta Nova Delight, who was playing the game in something absurd like 9,000. It was like 9,500 by 1080.
Yeah.
And it's just like this super long window that it's like playing the game through a GoPro. Like especially in the really small rooms that are just like two doors.
Yeah,
it's like an action cam that like it's like a fisheye lens that follows you.
Yeah. It is funny when you see how you can change the way Sky Chase works just by changing the aspect ratio. Like, this is a funny game.
It's a very funny game.
It's a funny game. I love it, but you know, it's a funny one.
There really is nothing quite like Adventure 1. There probably never will be again. Like, it's... Even if you tried, it's kind of impossible to recapture the kind of magic this game has in a weird way, you know? Like, it's such a technical showcase for the Dreamcast. And that's what they were going for with all the different stories. All the different stories are supposed to show off something else, because this is a game that would come bundled with the console. So it's kind of like a guide to show you what kind of games you might like, which is why Big exists.
Yeah. Shout out to Big though. Big story's great.
You know, Shout out to Big. Big is
Big.
shockingly one of the most fun stories in the game. Big is awesome.
Yeah. Like, it's so weird, because when you play casually, Big just kind of seems like a random character. But doing the runs, it's... Honestly, there's a lot to consider. I mean, it's
There's
pure
a lot
movement.
to think about.
Yeah,
it is.
It's pure movement. There's no skip.
You can talk to any 3D platformer, like any 3D platformer runner, right? And you'd be like, what is your checklist for games you want to run? And then like they would always end up with Big Story.
I know.
Like
Big's great.
Big is awesome.
We're at the last third of the game here. We kind of tend to separate Sonic Adventure, Sonic Story into 3 segments. So you have the beginning section, which is before Sky Chase, the middle section, which is between the two Sky Chases, and then the ending, which is where we're at now, which is after, the second Sky Chase. So when you watch your runs, we tend to talk about early, middle, late game, and you kind of separate them out and then work on what you need to work on.
Yeah, about this point in the game is when I start to really get into my groove. Like, I think that my end game, not to, poorly timed events, but I think that my end game is typically a lot stronger than my beginning. I think the beginning of Sonic Story is extremely difficult. Emerald Coast is such a hard level. Then Windy Valley is also just ludicrous in what it's asking for you. Like, it's getting through the beginning section of Sonic Adventure is so hard. And then the last major hurdle really, well, that's not true anymore with Final Egg Capsule, but the former last real hurdle was this level coming up, Skydeck.
I mean, I'd argue Lost World can present some problems.
It can, for sure, but I don't know. I just think it's really fun. So, even if I fail at Lost World, that's true. Silly Skip exists.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I love Silly Skip.
I love Silly Skip. We'll be sure to talk about it.
Yeah, we are coming up to Skydeck, which if anyone that's played this game knows how fun this stage is.
Yep. I bet every time you think about playing this game, this is the first stage you go to whenever you start playing on trial mode again.
Yep. It's always the one. I feel like Skydeck is one of the stages which, ironically, feels a bit easier once you understand how to skip any of the monotonous stuff that kind of happens. Yeah, we're going to jump over here. No free cam, which does mean the camera sort of has a weird angle there, which I never get used to because I'm used to DX, but we live.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go over to the right because this direction is a bit quicker, and then because we don't actually need the body because they decided just to put the platform close enough, we can simply jump over. Yeah, another thing that I've noticed that is different between this version and DX is that Lost World. What am I talking about? I'm on the wrong stage. I'm getting ahead of myself. Skydeck tends to get randomly dark for no reason. I believe it has something to do with a cloud flying over you. You spend too long in this area.
If you spend too long in the area, the ship is traveling and it's kind of on like a day-night cycle. So if you take too long, or like you're in a specific area for too long, the day-night cycle gets adjusted, and it gets really, really dark.
Yeah, very dark. It can be difficult to see where we're going. Anyway, we're here in Act 2. Can jump with it. Hopefully we'll get the early cannon, because the cannon always comes up pointing in the same direction. So if you can aim right and...
Oh, that was really close.
That was very close. Yeah, essentially, it always comes up facing the same direction, and so as long as the rocket hits the center of the cannon, or close enough, it will destroy it no matter what. So we do kind of try and aim for an early cannon. So we're gonna do a spin dash jump up here. We're gonna get early capsule.
No.
That was close.
It was close. Good attempt.
Saving a lot of time there. Yeah, you've probably seen other runners where you can just spin that jump and land on the capsule. It's not the easiest trick to get, but it does save time when going for it. And it's not really one that's not worth going for. So it's at the very least, it's good to attempt it. Yeah, we are
And as much as I love this game, Skydeck is probably the most unstable level in the game. The Dreamcast version is not prone to crashing too often, if at all, but Skydeck, for some reason, is the only level I've ever had an on-console crash. And it happens occasionally. It's not the most common thing in the world, but it is something to be scared of.
Yeah. I feel like Skydeck is definitely the most sort of prone to crashing or just simple soft locks. Especially at the end of the stage where if you hit the capsule, you can get stuck in a corner, and because Sonic's not on his feet, the game won't progress until he's sort of stood still. So you can sort of soft lock there. Maynard, Eggman has stolen the bird. Thank you, Eggman. I was done with 12.
That bird had a Chaos Emerald.
Where were they putting it? Where was it fitting?
It was in the briefcase.
The briefcase.
Yeah, didn't you watch the Sonic movie? They can change size.
I mean, the Master Emerald does that, so work on the Chaos Emeralds, I guess.
True, new lore just dropped.
New law, we got it. We figured it out. Yeah.
Gamma is my favorite Sonic character. Just because throw that out there. I love Gamma.
I've grown to like Gamma a lot more doing runs. Like, I enjoyed him, but learning Gamma's run, kind of hype, not gonna lie.
Gamma's awesome because not only do I love his character and his story, but his run is also super hype, which just makes it even better. Like, Gamma, my goat.
Yeah, Gamma is great. Gamma also gets the funny homing attack.
Yeah, the super awesome homing attack.
There's no limit on how far away you can be. It just goes right for him.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that fight, but yeah, the homing attack just has infinite range, specifically for that fight.
I don't get why they changed it for this one specific fight, but cool. We'll take it. So we've got just one cutscene here where Amy stands in front of a robot. I mean, fair enough. Actually, you know what? Because that's another category, which is great. Is Amy's story.
Oh yeah, we might have a surprise for the Amy enjoyers in chat a little bit after the Sonic story run.
Yeah. Just a little bit. But yeah, like her story, like talk about just her story run specifically, it's completely different between DX and Dreamcast.
It is. Like the Dreamcast version of Amy's story is very, very different. It is quite interesting just how different Amy is. That's why I'm really excited to be given the chance to show that off a little bit later if everything goes well.
Which it should. I got faith.
Yeah, the things are going pretty good so far, I gotta say. Like, a couple things left, but, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's only been a few mistakes throughout, but the run in general has been about as clean as you can ask for, to be fair. Yeah. This is around the time where on DX we'd probably be finished.
We'd be, probably a little bit ago, to be fair.
Probably, yeah, actually. But you know, that's why we've got Sonic Adventures CX coming to a category extension near you.
It's true. If you think that this game looks super interesting, but you're like, man, these cutscenes are just the worst, well, buddy, do I got a surprise. We've got a whole category extension that specifically teaches you how to remove the cutscenes from this game. Of course, it does require something that's external, so that's why it's not the main category. It's not something that we can actually like properly implement. It would be... Plus, it's weird. Because like you'll run into a lot of things in cutscene skip, which is CX, where you have to like fight Chaos Zero twice, because to skip the cutscene, you die after beating him. It's interesting. Highly suggest looking into that if you've got any more Sonic interest.
It is a great category. If you're interested, I'd definitely recommend checking it out. You know, just to get your feet wet, see what it's like. But here we are at Chaos 6, which is this is a boss. This is also, besides the monkey outside Red Mountain, this is the only time in a run you will use a light speed attack. Because for some reason, the way this is coded is the light speed attack does double damage. No other boss has this, by the way. Only this one.
I think it's supposed to be like one of those secrets that existed for like cheat books and stuff. Like, that's my only guess, is that Sega like worked, like the Sega dev team A was like contacted by a cheat book team. They're like, yo, do you want to sneak something in for like our book? That's my only guess, is that Sega like worked, like the Sega dev team A was like contacted by a cheat book team. They're like, yo, do you want to sneak something in for like our book? We'll give you money. And they were probably like, yeah, sure, we can make Chaos 6 take double damage to Ancient Light, I guess.
Honestly, that probably actually makes the most sense, to be fair. But yeah, because I mean, like, people have tried. We've tried every other boss. I mean, the Lightspeed attack does speed up other bosses purely on movement, but it never does double damage like it does here.
Not even the bosses that follow it, which makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, the way it is working, Wither's going to simply destroy one of those bombs, it will freeze Chaos 6, and then we will try the Lightspeed attack, and there we go. One more of those, and Chaos 6 is over. One thing to bear in mind with the Lightspeed attack is it is possible, if you're too far away, the Lightspeed attack would end early, but you'll still do damage. Which ends up happening is that you do 1 point of damage instead of 2, even though you did a Lightspeed attack. So you kind of have to get, you want to get a bit closer just to be safe.
Yeah, it's a little temperamental and weird, but you just got to make sure you're really, really close to him. And then for some reason, some of the particles that like fly around, those like yellow particles when I'm charging, they also have hitboxes on them, so you can't be too close to him when you're charging, otherwise you'll just take damage from those. That's what happened to that little ice guy flying around. If you notice that I just he took damage and I stopped and I bounced up randomly.
Yeah. That's kind of actually, because you mentioned the light particles, that is a reason for picking up the crystal ring. It's because they all have collision, like all the sort of sparkle things, I don't know what you call them. They have their own collision and hitboxes and everything, so they count as an item, which means the longer it takes you to charge up a lightspeed attack or light-speed dash, it will result in more lag. So we do grab the crystal ring in the Dreamcast.
Even though the crystal ring is an optional power-up, and you might be thinking, well, if you could skip a cutscene, isn't that worth it to just not sit through that cutscene? The answer is shockingly no. Taking an extra cutscene and just, having a little bit of extra downtime to grab the crystal ring is completely worth it, because the times we use the lightspeed dash, which are plentiful in the late game, because we're going to be doing it twice between this level and Final Egg, at the very least. It causes so much lag, it can almost triple the amount of time it takes to charge in some areas.
Yeah, you can. It's worth going out of your way to grab it. I mean, it doesn't take much effort. You simply stand outside the door, charge your light dash, and then just grab it. Which I didn't mention when we did it, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's whatever.
I've been too busy being distracted by how great this game is.
Honestly, I just like looking at it.
I know, right? Imagine playing it, it's even better.
True! I can't imagine playing it, I am.
He is. But yeah, we're going to go into Lost World here. Just let it load up, because, we do have loads. This says RTA. We're going to go for it. The beginning area is mostly just hallways. We're going to simply spin dash through, just to get through them. There isn't any skips here. We have the fire tunnel coming up, which is, as far as I'm aware, pure RNG. There's no way to know which pillars are coming out, so you sort of have to react as you go through.
Yeah, I like to do spin dash jump just as I go through this, because it feels a little safer. It's not the best strategy in the world, but I mean, it works.
Yeah. It's kind of, you do want to play safe. And now we are setting up my favorite skip in the game. This is Silly Skip. This was patent pending by Wither. We're going to charge for Lightspeed Dash, we're going to jump over, release the Lightspeed Dash, and we're in perfect position to take the clip through that door.
That is Silly Skip. That is a Witherman original.
Patent
Pure
pending.
ingenuity on that one.
I love that skip. The name makes so much sense. We're going to quickly explain this. What Wither did back there was he jumped up to remove the light, so it aimed at him and then spin dash through. Because it tries to put you in the dark so you hit the mirrors, but we can trigger the light to appear, to shine on us, to make it easier to see.
Yeah, the light actually didn't follow me like I was expecting it to, so that last half was extremely dark, which is why That did not work like it was supposed to. So I made sure to stop and take a mirror just so I could like find a new path. I've actually never taken that path. I just did. That was kind of on the fly to prevent myself from dying. So, hog. Oh, we lived.
But yeah, coming up to the end of Lost World, gotta be careful with this board. The board does have rubber banding, so if you go too fast, it can catch up with you. And so, you should go through here. I'm gonna do another very short skip here. By clicking on these panels, you can just simply spin that jump up here. And the edge of these panels has collision, so you can... Oh no! Oof.
The game lagged. My jump got eaten. So sad. Yeah, that happens up here a lot.
Yeah, it can. There's a lot of items up here, so you do end up with that happening. I was saying the edge of these platforms has collision, so you can simply stand on them, jump over, and then there we go. We're into
not the
the
worst.
smallest act of the game. I still have no idea why that's there.
It's just kind of a small hallway you have to walk through for like less than 1 second, but I mean, it's an act.
I mean, yeah, that's an act. And here we are, we're coming close to the end. We have a couple more cutscenes to get through. So welcome back to the Sonic Adventure, Sonic Story movie, I guess. Part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2. We're back. But yeah, there's a lot that goes on in this game, so thing is, it's one of those games where it looks a lot harder to run than it actually is. But like once you have a basic understanding and you put a bit of time in, you can get very consistent at a lot of the things that are happening here.
Oh yeah, I think Adventure is a game that I've speedrun plenty of other games before I started running Adventure. But Adventure is always a game that seemed very scary to me, especially when DX was the main board, because you would see things at the top like Task Route, and you watch people like Nixer play, and you're like, that's inhuman. And I mean, it is. Nixer is a banana.
I mean, he's not human. He's human Task.
But the level of skill at the top is insane. But don't let that frighten you. This game is actually very beginner friendly. There are so many strats, there are so many things you can do as a beginner for just sheer consistency, where you can compete with some really good times without really changing what you do.
Yeah.
Of course, there are much faster strats you can implement that are way harder to shave off like seconds at a time, honestly. And you will start needing those if you climb the top, but if you want to just, get a good time to impress yourself, this is a fantastic speed game. But I mean, we might be a little biased. We just like the game. Oh, you still sound fine to me. Hope everything's good. True. Yeah, triggering that to call cutscene is actually shockingly difficult. Like, you've got to slide on by just to be able to get her. So it's takes a little bit of finagling, but final level and final boss. We are. I am not looking at the timer just for my own sake, but I think we're doing really good. Oh no, he's gone. Alright, so Final Egg Capsule Skip is something that was implemented very, very recently into runs, which is in the very first second of this level. This is quite a long level with a lot of very difficult tricks. But right here, there is a new trick, which is pretty... It's been known about for a long time. It does require a silly hop input, but actually landing where we want to land is incredibly difficult. And I just got it in the first try.
Let's go.
That's... Okay. I'm trying to process what just happened. No, Squeefy, please come back. Please, Squeefy, come back. I can't commentate the rest of this. So the reason for the shell shock behavior right now, which I'm apologizing for, is we're now on world record pace.
Okay, then. We'll take that.
I don't know what the time is. I just kind of looked. I saw it was 10 something.
Don't worry about the timer.
Yep.
You got this.
Just gonna play the game. Just gonna play the game
that you love. Oh, Skeefy's back.
Squeefy, are you here? First try. First try. I didn't even get to finish explaining it.
But you got it first try?
We're already on Egg Viper. Did he gone again? Oh no! Oh good. Oh good. Oh good.
But you got it first try?
I'm gonna take it slow. I can't do it to myself. I cannot play this quickly. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay, just to explain what's happening here. We are going to dodge this move here. And then the... we are going to dodge this move here. And then the center...
Alright, so time is going to be coming up kind of soon. The time is going to be after Eggman's final thing. After the boss fight's over, there's like a small little like thing I have to survive. Once I survive that, that'll be time. Alright, so that's the end of Egg Viper. He's going to do one little last thing. And then once the in-game timer stops, that's when time is. So time is going to be coming up extremely soon. And... time.
GG. 1:10:37. What do you think, Witherman?
I'm gonna cry.
Oh my gosh, can we get some love in the chat for Witherman? That was incredible. I want to reach out and give you a hug. Oh my god.
There was so much more that could have been better, but I've been trying for months. I've been almost trying for a year. And to get it here,
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Well, chat is going wild for this run. Incredible.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Wow. I don't know what to say.
I think oh my wow says it all. I was gonna ask Witherman, do you need some time while we set up for Amy's story?
A few seconds maybe, but I would like to talk for a little bit first, if that's all right.
Please do, yeah.
This game's really good. I really like Sonic Adventure. I have a lot of people who have supported me speedrunning for a long time. You know, my parents have been very supportive whenever they stop by the stream. So, you know, shout outs to Mama and Papa Wither. Massively appreciate them in my life and all they've done for me and stuff. But the Sonic Adventure community as well has just been insane. It's just been so nice. Everyone's been so nice the whole time I've been part of it. I'm very honored to have been here in the first place and to have had the showcase of my favorite game in one of my favorite communities. Just getting to show everyone a world record and what this game can really be. That means more. That means more to me than I probably will ever be able to articulate.
Well, we really appreciate you being here to show off this game. I think the world record is an excellent bonus, so good job.
A little bit, huh?
Yeah.
I can finally rest easy. But
Now we want to know what's next on the docket for Witherman. Are you going to keep on running this game in this category, or you might move on?
Sonic Story is going to take a break, but I am going to be doing a Dreamcast 130 Emblems run, which is essentially this game's true 100%. So, true 100% will be coming pretty soon on my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more adventure. I might take a very small break, but there will be so much more adventure, because one of these days, I want to have every category. This makes 3.
Love it.
So, speaking of categories I'm really good at, who wants to see some Amy?
Let's go. Let's see some Amy. I'm ready for this too.
Amy's really cool. Like, I'm still trying to process what happened, but I'm just gonna kind of let that sink in later.
Yeah, if you want, we can take a little.
We
can take a little, like a little stretch break, a little walk around, and we can then set up for Amy's story. You want to do something like that?
Let the credits roll. Yeah, I'll get up.
Yeah,
I'll grab some water.
We'll be right back, everybody, and Witherman is going to show off some of Amy's story. So let's get hyped for that.
All right, thank you. I'll be right back.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for your patience. Time Capsule is back, and Witherman is back. And congratulations again, Witherman, on the world record. But we are going to see a little bit Amy now. Is that correct?
Thank you. Yeah. Amy, in a very unsuspecting character, I would say. You wouldn't think Amy is as just completely nutty as she is. There's only 3 levels in this category, and 2 out of the 3 are completely bonkers.
Well, whenever you are ready.
Of course, of course. I'll say time starts whenever I don't know, start the load screen. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck again.
Thank you. Now, there is a lot of very interesting stuff with Amy. Twinkle Park being, despite being her first level, one of the hardest in the game because of a little thing called Castle Skip. Using this row of flowers here, okay, well, I gotta land in it. You can do a hammer flip, get up here on this invisible wall, hammer flip on over here, then do another one, use another invisible wall as a platform, get up on top of this slope, and then just go straight through this one. And that skips a 3-act long level. This level, on average, your first time might take you 5 to 6 minutes, and now it takes just around 30 seconds.
Oh, do it again. Guess who's back? I am.
Welcome back, Squeefy.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, that was Twinkle Park. DX has its own Twinkles. Be great if we could skip the whole level. DX has its own castle skip, but the way it works is completely different. You have a different setup. In DX, the top, that collision, that bush, I don't think that's there. So the setup's completely different. Anyway, going into opting to do final egg first, honestly, I don't blame you.
Yeah, Final Egg is actually the second level in the list for the Japanese version of the game for some reason. So whenever I'm practicing, I just do all these levels in their debug order, which is what they are in the trial mode.
Yeah. Yeah, there isn't many major skips Amy gets for Dreamcast Final Egg. It is mostly just, we're just taking some simple movement optimizing. To explain Amy's movement, she tends to fall. Her fastest movement is when she's falling. So what we notice, we'll do a jump and then we'll hold A to hold hover frames, sort of like halfway through the jump. So we extend that fall to go a bit further, so we keep that speed. And you change those jumps. And then that keeps your momentum going.
Yeah, so Amy is very interesting because she almost plays like a classic FPS in a way, because you want to chain bunny hops and you want to do it in such a way that you maintain and then increase your speed incrementally. So it's very, very fun moving around with Amy.
Yeah.
And then this is complete RNG.
Place your bets. Which door are we getting? I'm going door 1 because I have faith.
Well,
never mind, you've lost all my faith. Get out. Get out.
That was quick.
Yeah, door 1 through 5. You go through them. You get lucky.
Door 3 or 4, hopefully. Come on, you got this. You get second chance at faith.
Oh, door 3.
Hey, door 3. Hey, we'll take it. Obviously, the more doors you open them, the more time you're losing. So you do want to hope for door 1, but there's no way to know. Or RNG, go for it. The best.
I'm not exactly sure when the seed gets set, but Amy, the doors are completely random. They're different every time.
I don't know if you're on DX, I believe it's when you create the save file, and then things change as you progress.
That would make sense.
But yeah, for Dreamcast, I'm not sure. I'm going to assume Dreamcast is similar to it does it when you create the save, but I'm not entirely sure. So. Anyway, here's Hot Shelter. We're going to try and do elevator clip here. Gets it, let's go. There's another, we're going to do a clip here. We missed it, but we get the wither spin, which no other human can do, by the way. Physically impossible.
If I'm famous for anything, it's for spinning things really fast.
I don't know anyone that can spin the cranks in this stage that quick, but Wither does. To the point where I'm almost certain he probably spins it faster than the clip. There it is. And so Foxy takes off. He's gone. Yeah, Hotshot was definitely a very interesting stage. Again, like we said during the Sonic story run, Amy in DX and Dreamcast are basically completely different. Like all the other characters, they have similarities. Amy, not a chance.
Like they go through the same levels, I guess, but they're so fundamentally different that they might as well not be.
Yeah. It is insane. I mean, there are some things that are shared between them, like this skip here, where we're just gonna fall through.
We're gonna use this bathroom stall.
Yeah.
Just fall through the door.
Yep. Because it just pushes you through. Yeah, that's one of the. I think that's like the only major one I can think of that's shared between DX and Dreamcast.
Well, Elevator and Door Clip 1, but...
Oh, yeah.
Act 1 is pretty similar. Act 2, beyond the very beginning there, is completely different the rest of the way through.
Yep.
As in DX, they would clip through the walls here, but the walls are solid in this version of the game. What I'm going to be attempting is if I do a hover at the perfect time into these Eggman face doors, Amy can clip through these doors, although it is really tight. There we go, got it.
Yeah, I guess. Nice, let's go. So we can jump up here. It is possible to do a DX skip here, but it's very precise and you're doing it completely blind. Because unlike DX, there is a little bit of collision that stretches out that you can land on to make it safe, but that isn't here on Dreamcast. But you can still hit the spring if you get the timing basically perfect. We're setting up a slide here. By grabbing the box as it falls in, we can pick it up, and it tries to get away from Amy, but because you're holding it, essentially just pushes you through the door.
And of course, that is a Dreamcast only trick. That does not work on DX, but DX does have, again, their own method, which is known as pasta skip. It doesn't use the puzzle stuff at all, but still gets the same effect. And then time for this is going to be after I grab the balloon. We'll get there eventually.
I get the second try. We can do this. I got faith. Second try.
Just gonna let Zero hit over here.
Yeah, because Zero does aim at the last place you were when he locks on. Second try. Let's go. No. Oh, that's unfortunate.
This is the struggle with going for this trick. This trick is known as DoorDash, specifically this one, because I thought it was funny. But this trick, you have to know the exact movement for each puzzle piece, because once you put them down, you have to kind of like finagle the slide to let you through the door and not die. It is incredibly difficult. Yellow is the easiest piece, because you can just do that and make it through. Any of the other ones, you've got to do some pretty intense movement. But yeah, that is going to be it for the Amy showcase. That is her whole story, and that is time.
GG.
Oh.
Fun, we get to see a little bit of Amy's story like that.
Amy's story is very awesome. It's one of the sickest in the run. It's one of the sickest in all stories, which is the main category I like to run, where you go through all of the character stories back to back. And Adventure's just a really cool game. Every category is so dramatically different from each other. Multiple characters have unique levels that don't share. There's so many things, like... And yeah, I know, like, it's so crazy fast, right? Like, this was a 10-minute estimate. We got there in 7 minutes. Amy doesn't have a lot of levels. It's really sad. But and she should have more, because she's so cool.
Yeah.
But for now, it's just short and sweet with Amy here. So, Witherman, we're going to be wrapping up the show now. So, would you like to say anything? Leave our viewers with some thoughts or shout-outs or anything like that?
Oh, I feel like I hit almost everything after Sonic, but the last thing I'll say is, if you've got a Dreamcast collecting dust, a copy of Sonic Adventure, and you thought anything you saw was cool, we have a huge scene that can cover everything. We have individual levels, we've got full categories, we've got all stories, we've got 130, we've got cutscene skip, and we've even got stuff for third-party controllers, because for some reason that breaks the game. Like, if you've got any way to play this game, please do. Sonic Adventure, both on the Dreamcast, on the PC, on the Xbox, on the GameCube. One of the coolest speed games of all time. I love this game. I love everyone that plays it. And thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And thank you for letting me on the show, of course. This is, again, huge, huge honor for me.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure having you both here on the show today, and GG Witherman on the world record and everything. I hope you have a big celebration this week.
Yeah.
Hold up, your world record?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Why did I miss this?
I know, right? But yeah, that
know.
was by 30 seconds.
Wait,
30 seconds for
30
Sonic.
seconds. Well, let's go.
let's go. Yeah.
Let's go.
The news travels fast.
I'm disappointed. Why?
All right, my friends. Well, if you are watching this on YouTube from the future, make sure you go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you are interested in watching our shows live. We start weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned tomorrow for No Category Left Behind, followed by Speedruns from the Crypt, and that all starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. I have been your host, Smooth Operative. Thank you so much for tuning in to Time Capsule tonight. Have a beautiful day or night, and we will see you next time.